For me, a visit to York is not just a place to see and shoot. I was born in Yorkshire, as were my family for generations. As I arrive once more into this legendary city, 1,000 memories flood my brain. This city, however, has secrets that date back thousands of years. In June 2007, it was voted European Tourism City of the Year, beating 130 other cities in the process. It was voted the safest place to visit in 2010, and it has numerous great coffee shops. The Jorvik Viking Centre is just one of the many attractions here. It's a fascinating place and has much to offer the visitor. History is certainly all around, and I mean 2,000 years of it, as well as museums, gardens, and the river. That's not an open-top bus, it's the York boat, and it's cruising down the River Ouse, the river on which this city was built. Here one can hire a self-drive boat for an hour for £30. Or take a leisurely stroll past ivy-encrusted Edwardian houses. Some prefer the York boat for a delightful afternoon tea or early evening cruise. I can tell you, the captain will deliver an amusing and interesting commentary, explaining everything in sight. There's wildlife too, not just on Saturday night. The Canada geese on the river, whilst the grey geese prune themselves on the bank. And the humans enjoy haddock, chips and mushy peas for $6.95. On a day like today, paradise. On a summer's day, this is a very popular spot. And there's several restaurants and pubs. Edward and Sharon delighted by the weather. The Ouse connects with many canals and waterways, and the occasional canal boat can be seen heading downriver. The downside of all this is the fact that the river here is prone to flooding and regularly overflows its banks and floods the city. Today, the level is normal. During the flood of 2000, it was 17 feet 8 inches higher than this. Everything here was underwater, with over 500 properties flooded. Today, we're getting to see it at its best. A 5-minute walk away is the city centre. The shopping is excellent. There are many places to eat and superb views all around. Pedestrian walkways are just another plus for this amazing city. Fountains, al fresco dining, and the summer sun all make it a very enjoyable place. The markets are a great place to browse, and there's a great variety of things to peruse. Even if you don't buy anything here, there's a great atmosphere, the markets being an integral part of Yorkshire life and the perfect place to find a bargain. York has the dubious reputation of being the most haunted city in the world, but the history has a wow factor of 10. Beautiful churches, this a relatively new one, 1154. So we made our way up Stonegate toward the cathedral, Ye Old Star Inn, almost 400 years old. But then one gets a glimpse of epic proportions. Behind Dickensian houses, the iconic York Minster. At this point, all the tourists take out their cameras or their phones, or just stop to take it all in. The first structure of a church here was 627, though some claim from as early as AD 180 there's been a church here. The present structure dates back to 1215. 2 million people a year visit. And a great way to get a look is a horse and carriage. So we did. And were treated to an excellent ride around this medieval paradise, the coachman being an excellent and friendly guide. Not the greatest place from which to shoot video, but very enjoyable. Our coachman gives the explanation of gate here.
Word meaning street. Gar. There's the mansion house on the right where the Lord Mayor spends his or her year of office. Shamble's a very narrow street. In the old days they were all butchers' shops. Every shop was a butcher's shop. Whitma Gate.
Whitma Gate, or Whitma Street, is said to mean neither one thing nor the other. It's one of the smallest streets in York. The ride gives an overview of the city and allows us to decide to come back and visit if we see interesting places. After a loop around the city, we arrive back at the Minster. Now here's some very interesting facts about Roman Britain. The emperors Hadrian, Septimus Severus, and Constantius I all held court here. Severus bestowed upon York the status of a city. When Constantius I died here in 306 AD, his son Constantine the Great was proclaimed emperor. His statue here not only commemorates the occasion, but marks the very place where it happened, right outside where York Minster is today, as the Minster was later built on the site of the old Roman fortress, and parts of the original walls have actually been found in the undercroft of the Minster. But off to explore again, and as we do, one can be forgiven for thinking this is a movie set for a Dickens novel. Dickens did actually write in Nicholas Nickleby, The Tale of the Five Sisters of York. This is Stonegate, a magnet for tourists, full of interesting shops and occasional street performers, and clearly very old. A pub called the Yorkshire Terrier, unusual shops, empty windows, and occupied windows. Italian ice cream. And yes, this is the Lord Mayor's mansion house that we saw from the horse and carriage. But there's much more to see and it's 4 o'clock already. Next time on beautiful York, we take a look outside and inside the Minster. We explore the shambles. And we take a look at the best railway museum in the world. Don't miss it.